Yo, yo, it's your boy, the Boogeyman, Johnny Zuko, letting you know that you're tuned into a very special edition of the Bump the Night podcast. All I want to say is that I think this convention is great. I have fun every time I go, and you know, I don't really know what else to say. I have a blast every time I go here. The people are nice. The staff is great. The venue is really good. Their lineups are always very consistent, and I just think it's an amazing convention. I really do, and I think, you know, pretty soon this is going to be one of the premier conventions in Northern California. That's just my feeling on it. That's just my take on it. But yeah, I won't bore you too much. Me and Elysa did to talk and did do a review, but I was so preoccupied with work that I really couldn't add anything else to the conversation. So I kind of regret not focusing and having a dialogue with her about it. But um, she's gonna lead us off in the next few minutes, and then we're gonna go into our interviews. We scored some interviews with some really fascinating people, from David Howard Thornton, Art the fucking clown. He spared 5 minutes of his time to talk to us. The host of Nerve Wreckin Theater, Lord Blood Rah, to the Homicidal Homemaker Kaci Hansen. She's fucking great. She's terrific, and her cooking show is awesome. Highly recommended. And then to Richard Baker, the creator of Weed Wolf, and a contributor to Tales from the Dank Side. To Yosiello, who is an artist, and his it's called Orphans of Dudleytown. I'm sorry, I'm reading off a script here, and so it's kind of distracting. I'm not used to reading scripts, as obvious. And then we talked to Spooky Mel from Board Spooky, who has some interesting thoughts about remakes. We had fun going to this convention, and all I want to say is that we look forward to going back again. So yeah, Elysa, please take us away.
Hey guys, Ginger Snap. Yeah, it's funny because outside it was hot, but if you were in the shade, it was doable. But once you get inside, I feel like there were some rooms. There was one room where it didn't feel like it had any air conditioning. I don't know if you guys checked that out, but it was like all the way in the back. And then when you go to the left, where the celebs are, the temp was a little cooler. And then past that, it was cooler. But there were spots in there I was like, I'm like sweating my makeup off. So I feel like next time I'm gonna bring like a portable fan or like a hand fan, just to like be prepared, because you have all those bodies in there. You're walking around, you're excited, So it does get hot. I felt bad for the people that were like really dressed up in like leather and like those horror characters. Like they had so many layers and like thick material on. They must have been dying inside. Yeah, so I've been to like different like cosplay conventions. Like I think one was called like Big Wow in San Jose, and they did have like certain celebrities and stuff. It wasn't like huge, but it was kind of a similar setup. Like you had your vendors. So I've been to stuff like that before, but this was like the first like horror one I've been to with people that I really like. So I was like super stoked, especially for David Howard Thornton, Kane Hodder. The vendors I thought were really awesome. There's so many talented actual artists there, like oil painters and people that made jewelry, people that made masks, just really cool stuff. So I was pretty impressed by that kind of stuff. So I was a little nervous because I didn't know like how the lineups, like waiting in line, the duration of the time for the lines, but it wasn't bad. Like I think the most we had to wait was for Kane Hodder, and that was what, like 10 minutes. Yeah, because I mean, I've seen videos where people are in line for like hours, so I was like expecting to like stand around a lot and like wait around, but no, like it actually, and I think it's because we did go on a Sunday, we didn't go like the opening day, so I kind of like that. I like that we didn't have to wait too long, so it wasn't that bad, but I had a blast. minus the weather, that was like the only downside for me personally. It was just like the temperature. Even though it wasn't like excruciating or anything, but like I think we went prepared, like, you know, with water and kind of like taking a break to get coffee and stuff. So like I had super fun. We did have an incident where we were annoyed with someone, but we won't get into that. But like as far as like meeting the people and like taking photos, like I had a blast. I thought it was really fun, and I would totally go again. Like I said, I think the next time I'll just bring like a portable fan with me to keep cool. But yeah, like I had a total blast. I'm really excited for how it went down.
Great, my lords and ladies.
All right, here we go. You want to take over? Go ahead.
No.
Let's checking back in with the Sinister Creature Con. It's your boy, the Boogeyman, Johnny Zuko, sitting here with
Lord Blood Rah, my lords and ladies. Hello.
See, I wouldn't be able to do that. See, that's why I had to do that.
Thank you.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get inside to being a horror host?
Well, I've been doing this for about 10 years now. I just have always loved horror and science fiction. The opportunity arose about 10 years ago to host live shows at a winery in the Bay Area. A friend of ours owns the Chenard Winery in Castro Valley, and they wanted to do yearly film shows because the winemaker had fallen in love with Plan 9 from Outer Space. Wanted to show that and wanted to do a film show every year on weird sci-fi horror films. And I said, well, you can't just show the film. You got to have a host. You need somebody to host the thing. And he said, well, do you know anybody who can host it? And I said, well, I really don't know anybody. You know, we're sitting there with a glass of wine, he and my wife and I. My wife turned to me and said, why don't you do it? And I had no answer, so there was a flash of lightning and thunder, and a wolf howled in the distance, and Lord Blood Rah was born.
How'd you come up with the name?
Well, Lord I picked because everything else was taken. Mr., Doctor, Professor, Count, all of that stuff was taken. What's better than being a Lord? That's right, yeah. And I actually took Lord also from a performer from the 1950s named Lord Buckley, who was this great kind of MC comic who would take classics from literature and translate them into jazz language, the language of the hip. Always, I loved Lord Buckley. That's why I call people lords and ladies, because that was a Lord Buckley affectation. Look him up. I'm not going to do Lord Buckley for you now.
Oh, man, come on.
Him up. Look him up. Find him. Lord Buckley was great. Blood Rah came from, I was at a convention, as a matter of fact, and I was a couple of weeks away from having a surgery on my kidney. Everything was fine, but I had to have a surgery. And the hospital called me and said, you need to make an appointment for an autologous blood draw. And my immediate reaction was, what an incredible name! Autologous blood draw, that's fantastic! And I dropped the autologous and put Lord on it and changed the spelling, and Lord Blood Rah.
Lord Blood Rah was
Blood
born.
Rah was born, yes.
So how do you like it being a horror host? Like,
I love it. I can't, if you told me, I've been doing this for 10 years, if you told me 12 years ago I was going to be a horror host and have a TV series and do live performance, no, you're crazy. There's no way. I could never do that. Now I cannot imagine. I can't imagine not doing it. Yeah. I love these films. I love sharing these films with the people who enjoy them. The audiences are always so appreciative. I love hearing from fans who watch the show, because I'm on regular broadcast TV in the Midwest. I'm very lucky that I've got two regular TV stations that air the show, one in Peoria, Illinois, one in Fort Wayne, Indiana, that air the show Saturday night at 10 o'clock. So it's that kind of classic horror host time slot.
Nice.
And I totally lucked into that position. And everything else is primarily streaming that I'm doing. And I love hearing from the fans who enjoy these films and things. I do live shows out in the Midwest. I've got 2 coming up this October for Halloween. And I love it. Again, I can't imagine not doing it now that I've been doing it for so long and because of the reaction I've got.
Now, go ahead.
Oh, please.
So I'm curious, how are you in your daily life? different than your persona? Or is it what you see is what you get? Are you the same?
Lord,
Do you walk around going, I'm walking to Safeway, I am Lord. Give me that melon.
in my head, yes.
Yes.
Lord Blood Rah is essentially me without any reservations about my geekiness whatsoever.
So you don't wear the top hat to Safeway?
I get, people are a little bit weird about that, But, sometimes it's like, well, yeah, horror and science fiction fan, and people are like, But Lord Blood Rah is the part of me that takes a great pride in being a complete and utter geek when it comes to horror and science fiction.
So, you know how most horror hosts, they have a niche, they have a gimmick, they have a certain type of movie they show.
Yes.
Elvira always shows like creature features, Joe Bob shows drive-in movies.
Sure.
What is your niche? What is your specialty in movies?
It's all vintage horror, really, but I don't really have a niche. I mean, just recently, the latest episode, as a matter of fact, I just wrote it, I'm filming it tomorrow, is Hercules Against the Moon Man. And this is the first Hercules film that I've done,
Oh, wow.
I've done horror spoofs before. I've done some mysteries before. Anything that just has this strange edge to it. I kind of know it when I see it. The film that I want to do, so anything that I enjoy that has a hook that I can get into is the kind of film that I'll do. But of course, horror and science fiction take
What's the modernist movie? Like what is the most recent movie you ever done on your show?
The most recent movie I did was from 1977. I think I did two from 1977. One of them was called End of the World with Christopher Lee, and it's terrible.
I was gonna say, isn't that the Omega Man ripoff?
No, it's not. It's Christopher Lee plays a priest who is, a spoiler alert, actually an alien, and who's here basically to end the world.
Oh,
That's
wow.
basically it. That's basically the plot. Yeah.
What horror films got you into, what horror films inspired you to get into horror more?
Oh, well, I grew up watching, in the Bay Area, as all people of a certain age did, watching Bob Wilkins' Creature Features. Grew up watching that, loving that show. And I guess everything that he showed, which were the Universal horror films, the old 50s sci-fi films, Godzilla films, the Hammer films, all of that, I fell in love with the genre, watching Bob Wilkins. And John Stanley on Creature Features as a kid.
See, I'm not really familiar. Like, I was born in the 80s, raised in the 90s.
Okay.
So, my horror host is like Joe Bob and Elvira.
Sure.
And stuff
Sure.
like that.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
Is there like a misconception where it's just those two and then no one else?
Yeah, basically. They're great hosts, yeah. But there's an entire lineage that goes back to when it really started in 1954 with Vampira. Very first horror hostess on TV.
Yeah.
After her, there was a huge flood of horror hosts when the Shock Theater package of classic Universal horror films was released to TV. And back then you had independent stations all across the country. There were three networks, but a lot of stations. And each one said, hey, well, maybe we should have somebody to host these late-night horror shows, And they usually got somebody out of the mailroom or somebody like that, and said, put on a...
Hey, that's a loner. Let's just put them in front of the camera.
Yeah, there you go. It's like put on a cape and just, go out there.
Act weird. There you go.
Weird. Yeah, right. So now, the horror hosts of today, and there are quite a few, the horror hosts of today are fans of the original horror hosts. That's where we differ. It's not a job that we were assigned to do. We do it because we love doing it. And thank God for streaming, because most of the vast majority of horror hosts you're going to find online on Roku stations and on things like that. But no, there are a number of hosts out there that are doing it today, as there kind of always has been. There was a bit of a lull.
I felt like
80s,
I felt like it kind of dipped off like around 97 up until like maybe 2012, 2013.
Yeah,
like
2000s
in my area in the Central Coast, I'm from Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
So back then we would have like some of those, but they'd be always interjected. There was never a featured person.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you. Okay.
And so then after that, it just kind of tapered off, and then it just became, horror movie of the week, and then nothing.
Okay.
So when did the horror host come back to TV? So you say streaming. Do you think that has a reason? Do you believe that's, what am I looking for?
You think that's like the reason why there's more?
Yeah, there you go.
I think that, okay, you went from, well, now on TV, there is so much to choose from. As I said, back in the past, there were basically 3 channels, or 3 networks. Now you've got streaming HBO, you've got all of these platforms now. You can't possibly watch all the TV out there, even that you'd be interested in seeing. You can't possibly do it. So independent stations are once again fishing around for a way to be unique and different. So I think they're going back to the horror host. They're going back to that kind of niche programming thing, trying to draw viewers in. Because, it's...
You think it's a nostalgia thing, too?
It is definitely a nostalgia thing. Yes, it's definitely a nostalgia thing. And nostalgia in itself comes in waves, There are various times, I think, like this day and age that we live in, people want escapism. They want fantasy. They want people to talk to them, lead them through a weird movie and say, hey, it's going to be all right, everything's good. I'm watching this movie with you, we're having a good time. I think that's a good point. Yeah, it's nostalgia. The love of nostalgia has really come back.
Now, do you do all your own research?
Oh,
when
yes.
it comes to the movies?
Oh yeah, definitely. I write, film, edit, everything. Shoot
do it all.
my own,
So you're the one that basically says, okay, I want to cut right here and go into the break, right?
Oh yeah, that's the first part of writing an episode is I'll watch the movie. Usually, I'll watch about 10 minutes of the movie, cut it, and if something struck my fancy in there, I could make a joke out of something, or something was funny, put that segment in, throw it a commercial, come out of commercial. So yeah, the editing is the very first part of my writing process when I write an episode.
So what's your thought on the horror genre today? What are your thoughts on the movies today?
There are interesting things coming out. I'm getting a little tired of the remakes
Thank you. See, he's on my side.
And the Annabelle 42, and it's like
we're asking everyone, like, what do you think about the remakes of today? How they're just like knocking them out. Black Christmas
was recently announced.
Candyman.
But some sound good, like the remake of Child's Play. That trailer looks good.
What trailer did you watch? Did you watch the first trailer or did you watch the second trailer?
Maybe the second trailer.
Is that the one where he controls the drones and all the toys and stuff like that?
No, I didn't see that one.
Okay, so don't watch that trailer.
Oh, okay.
You're going to change your mind after that trailer.
I might end up changing my mind here on that, yeah. I didn't see that trailer.
Yeah,
is that where he controls drones with his mind?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it like a store, right?
He's AI. That's what he is.
Oh, what?
Yeah, he's AI.
Okay. I'd like to rescind my former comment.
I was gonna say.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, he's not a dog. He's actually AI, like artificial intelligence.
Have you seen a remake that you like better than the original?
Oh, better than the original.
Like, for example, like John Carpenter's The Thing. Everyone does that one, like, compared to the original.
Well, that's a great film, but I look at them as two totally different films.
Okay.
Because they're so different in tone.
Yeah.
Same thing with The Fly,
Yeah.
The Fly.
Same thing with
The Fly. Yeah, exactly. Two great films, but so different in tone and such a product of their time.
But I think that's what makes them so unique because Cronenberg and Carpenter put their own voice into them. They weren't trying to like remake the original.
That's right.
They were trying to remake it, but they were trying to put their own spin on it and make it unique to them.
Yeah, especially Cronenberg, because his specialty is body horror.
Oh, yeah.
For him to do The Fly, that was just genius. That was perfect.
Yeah. And so, no one remakes. Oh, I wanted to ask you one.
Well,
actually, two.
Qualified no one.
Okay, so 2 remakes I wanted to ask
Yes.
because they're popular. Evil Dead remake. What's your thoughts on that?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that because like you're attached to the original, or you just didn't think Freddy Alvarez could do it?
I had no comment on Freddy Alvarez. I love the original one so much. It wasn't a priority for me because to me the first one just stands alone.
It still holds up to.
It still holds up.
Except for that moon sequence, but everything else holds up.
So if I don't think a remake is going to put a whole new spin and a whole new context to a film. I'll see it someday, but I wasn't going to rush to see it. I wasn't that interested in seeing it.
So that would probably shoot down to my next question, but I'm going to ask anyway. Nightmare on Elm Street.
The remake?
I thought that... Who played Freddy in that film?
Jackie Earle Haley.
I thought he did a great job with the script he was given.
I thought that was fantastic casting.
It was good casting.
I just wish they'd let him do him.
I wish he had a better script.
Yeah.
I wish he had a better script.
I kind of wish he had a better voice, too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, fair enough. But I mean, think
voice.
about it. What they can do now with special effects and him absolutely controlling the world that you're in his dreams, they could have gone into so many different, avenues and weird areas with that.
The whole
And the script
micro
didn't.
nap thing,
Yes,
the micro
yes.
nap. They dropped the ball on that.
Yes.
They executed. They set that up so beautifully, and yet didn't execute it very well.
Absolutely agree. Yeah, there were a lot of missed opportunities in that film, I think. Yeah.
That leads me to another question. Do you think CGI is used in horror films today? Do you think like that is better for today's horror films, or do you miss like the actual use of practical effects?
I think practical effects are great in that when you look at them on screen, you know that's a real thing.
Yeah.
And especially in horror, you want to have that sense. I really don't like 100% CGI for special effects. Yeah, I think it's a good seasoning. Like if you've got a great monster suit or a great monster design or a practical effect, but it simply can't do something, then you add the CGI to it. That
or something completely. It seems to ruin it.
It does.
It can. I mean, it's gotten to a point now where it's very good, but it looks great, but it doesn't feel real.
Yes.
Whereas,
it's missing something.
yeah, right. Whereas with practical, if you just tweak it a bit with a great example of that, not a horror film, but Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
All of those stunts were practical, but just with little hints of CGI to enhance it, and that was incredible.
I was gonna bring up. I can't remember the movie, but there was a horror movie. Oh, Midnight Meat Train.
Oh,
Great movie. CGI blood.
Yeah.
Drove me crazy. Took me out of it all the time.
CGI blood splatter. It never looks real.
Never
it
looks
never
good.
reacts like a fluid in nature. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
For some reason right now, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Walking Dead does that a lot. It's like all CGI blood.
Yeah.
But I can understand that because that's TV, and
Oh, don't go dissing TV now.
it's TV. I mean, you can only show so much on TV, and plus, if you watch it, the blood is darker rather than like bright red.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Not the melted crayon of like the Hammer films and things like that. Yeah, right.
Or pink in a Giallo film.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Right. Yeah.
Okay, so
I have one more important question.
Okay.
How long did it take you to design your eyebrows?
When I first came up with the idea for Lord Blood Rah, I thought, okay, I need to design a look. So I sat in front of a mirror. Well, thank you. I sat in front of a mirror, and I quickly realized I cannot do makeup. So I just drew some eyebrows on, and that was it. The eyebrows of this sounds so pretentious.
The devil with his tongue out, like that devil picture going.
Oh my God, this sounds so pretentious. But the eyebrows have evolved over time
Do you use like
to where
stencils?
I have it.
People
No,
stencil?
but I have a
He has it
definite
down,
design
like
now.
somebody that draws
I've had people tell me that they look like two rats converging into the middle of my forehead.
I can see that.
Right, the tail and the body of
If
it.
you really stare at
I'll take that.
But
I'll take
if
that.
you just look at you with the facial hair and everything, it's like, it works. It works.
Thank you very much.
Another question I have is, you mentioned winery. Are you a red wine fan or a white wine fan?
Oh, I like a nice Zinfandel.
Okay.
And I like a really good Viognier or Chardonnay too.
Okay.
So I'm both.
Nice.
I'm not a red or white. Yeah, I like both. Speaking of that, by the way, I've got the shows coming up at the Chenard Winery again this year. That's coming up in August.
So for our listeners
Yes.
and for me, where is that located?
The Chenard Winery is in Castro Valley on Palomares Canyon Road. You can look them up. It's Chenard, Uinard, Chenard Winery. And in August, the first weekend in August, I'm showing Nightmare in Blood, which is a film done by John Stanley, who was the second host of Creature Features. He wrote and directed this film. It's a fantastic film about a vampire that hides out as a vampire actor at a convention in San Francisco. It's great. It's a really fun film. And then we skip a weekend. The third weekend in August, we're doing Bela Lugosi Meets a Brooklyn Gorilla. Now, are you familiar with that film?
No, but Bela Lugosi.
Bela Lugosi, yeah, there you go. You got your Bela Lugosi T-shirt on there.
Bela Lugosi.
Bela Lugosi, it's like a Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis film from an alternate dimension. Because it's Duke Mitchell and Sammy Petrillo who are doing their best Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis impression with Bela Lugosi in it. You would swear it's a Martin and Lewis film. And it's a fun film. It's a fun film. Then the last weekend we're doing a double feature of The Wolfman and Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. So
that's a fun
big
feature.
Universal double feature, yeah. On there.
And where can people find your show?
If you look at lordbloodrah.com, LORDBLOODRAH.com, not a W, that's right. You can check the TV tab, and you can see where you can stream the show, watch the show, depending on your area. I'm on a few broadcast stations, mostly streaming, a lot of Roku stations and things, or, well, no, that's the information for Lord Blood Rah. I'm also the co-creator of Creatures Con, which is a convention. It's the Bay Area's classic horror convention. And that's coming up this year, July 7th at the San Ramon Marriott. And our big guest this year is Veronica Carlson, Hammer Horror Lady, Hammer Horror legend. She's great. And that's coming up July 7th. If you go to creaturescon.com, you can get information on that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And then I'm the Boogeyman.
And I'm Ginger Snap.
And Lord Blood Rah, thanking all of you out there in the Boogie universe.
Actually, that's pretty good.
2, 3. Okay. Okay, welcome back to the Sinister Creature Con. I am the Boogeyman here with my co-host.
Ginger Snap.
And we're here with Art the fucking Clown. Or David Howard Thornton.
Yeah.
David Howard Thornton today.
It's me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into acting?
I started off doing acting like a young kid. Oddly enough, doing children's theater or church theater.
Really?
Yeah. Place about Jesus. In Alabama, so yeah, that's how I started.
Alabama?
I am. Huntsville, Alabama. Yeah, that's my hometown. So yeah, that's an interesting, humble beginnings for Art the Clown.
Yeah.
Plays about Jesus.
How you've evolved.
Yes. Jeez.
Oh man. So how did you get into Art the Clown? Like, how did that role come about?
I skinned him, then I. No,
Yeah, right?
Then I just wore him. No. I just came across an audition online for it, and they were looking for a tall, skinny guy that could do clowning or had physical comedy experience, and I'm like, that's me. I can totally do this. So it's like, put me in, coach.
So did you watch All Hallows Eve to get inspiration on how Art the Clown is supposed to be, or did you just make art your own?
I did a little bit of both. I'd already seen All Hallows Eve, so when I saw that notice, I was like, yes, I know this character, and I must audition. And so I wanted to watch it as much as possible, just so I could get the basic nuances of the character that the original art Mike Gianelli brought to it. He did a fantastic job, just laying a great foundation for me to start from. And then I just wanted to bring my own... I put my own stank on it, I guess you could say.
Stank.
Yeah.
Well, what was it like filming Terrifier?
Oh, so much fun. But it was a challenge, too, because we're a very low-budget film, and so we had some setbacks as you do in those kinds.
Sometimes that works in your favor, though, because you have to get really creative, and then sometimes it turns out really
We got
impressive.
very creative at times, and we had a few setbacks from time to time, as you do. But I mean, we pulled through, and everybody that was working on was great people to work with. So there were no egos or anything like that. So we all had fun together. So
I mean, because those practical effects, that's not cheap.
that was all Damien.
That's insane.
Yeah, he wrote it, directed it. Did all the practical effects himself.
He was a special effects artist too, right?
Yes, yes.
That was his background.
Yes, yes. I mean, he's just that talented. He did all of that himself. Had no one else really doing it for him.
Did you expect Art the Clown to take off as much as he did?
No.
No?
No, because we were trying to be realistic. Because we knew what we were. We knew we weren't a big Hollywood studio project. We're this independent film, and we didn't have like mainstream like press behind us, like IGN and stuff like that, trying to. Because we didn't have the money to pay for that kind of publicity, so we were just like, oh, maybe a handful of people will see us and they like us. That's great, but it's the fans that just start talking about it, and there's that word of mouth just went crazy, and it's like, different podcasts and, a horror fan site started talking about it, and just grew and grew and grew, and the Netflix finally picked up on it, put us out there, and it just exploded.
Was it the Netflix?
Who's that? It's the fire sign.
Oh my God!
Fire sign.
You asshole!
Wait, you're next.
I already did it. It's Kane. What do you expect?
Kane Harder pulled
Does
a
he
better
actually choke
move.
hard though?
Oh, yeah.
It leaves like a mark or.
Oh, that's Kane for you.
Oh, no, man, he's turning red.
Yeah.
He's turning red.
It's a little bit of fan freak out.
All right.
I just got choked by Kane Hodder.
Yeah, he doesn't do that a whole lot.
I know. He's a strong guy. He's strong. I would not want to piss him off.
No.
I'm glad to have someone like that in my corner,
Well, I wouldn't want to piss you off either.
Yeah,
You saw a woman in half, so.
Yeah, I was
Just
just
saying.
saying. Was there anything that you did in the movie that disturbed you? Where you were like, "Oh, this is really," but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Not really for me, but I think it disturbed the crew more when I did the Buffalo Bill scene, I guess you could say, because I had to look at my naked butt all night. I am so sorry, guys. You wanted to see girls like this, not guys like this.
That's how
She's like, "There's not enough male nudity.
Yes.
Where's the dick?"
She's a component for male nudity. So she wants more male nudity.
So, no, there's your invitation. Whoop.
Here's the prom night picture.
Yeah.
So have they released like when Terrifier 2 is gonna?
We are anticipating starting filming in October.
This year?
Yes, this year. So we hope that's our goal, is to release next October around Halloween, because I think this is going to have another Halloween thing to it.
Oh, okay.
So we want to release around that time, so it'll be a great time to get it out there to the world. So yeah.
Everyone's super excited for it. As soon as he posted, I think it was like the script photo on Instagram, everybody just went crazy.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
Well, did you expect to see a sequel?
I had hoped. I had hoped, because we from the get-go had an idea to do a trilogy. So that's what we really want to do, is do at least a trilogy of this. And if it goes past that, even better.
Well, what more could you do with art at this point? A whole lot?
A whole lot.
Yeah.
I mean, there's infinite possibilities with this guy.
Because one of the interesting things about him is that he has no backstory. You don't know where he came from, or how he appeared, or why he's like that. Like, he literally comes off as a human, but he's really a monster.
Yep.
He's supernatural without being supernatural, if you know what I mean.
Because there is a supernatural aspect to it. Because, I mean, he comes back from the dead after shooting himself in the head.
Yeah, it's like at the end of the movie.
You just can't come back from that.
But see, the whole movie plays it like he's a man.
Yeah.
I think that's what.
Yeah, that's how we
it.
played it. Because I don't think he even knew that was going to happen. I think he was like, okay, fine, they got me. I'm going out on my own terms. And he takes himself out, and then all of a sudden he's back from the dead. Now you're going to see how he reacts to that. Going, the what?
Now he's just pissed off.
Oh, okay.
This Mike Myers thing about him.
Or maybe he's more like, hey, I can't get killed now. Ha ha.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm just curious, do you want to do anything else besides horror? Like, if you
I was
got
gonna
some
ask that
kind
too,
of
like
acting...
a romantic comedy.
A rom-com.
A rom-com.
Yeah, there you go. As a mime. Art finally falls in love. That would be perfect.
Clowns need love too.
That could be the
I'm
next
just
one.
happy to work. It just
Yeah,
whatever
really.
it is, I'll just be happy to do. It's like, of course, I would love to play another killer clown, Joker. So that's
Just throwing that out there. Huh?
Just throwing that out there for everybody.
So who would win in
That
a
was
fight,
good.
Art the Clown or Jason Voorhees?
Ooh.
You're clear.
Okay, Kane's not around.
He's not around. I don't see him.
Oh, Art.
He's behind you.
Art's smarter
Unless he
than
gets you in
Jason.
a chokehold.
Art would have. Art's always like a few steps ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
So he would be anticipated. That would be an interesting fight. That would be a
That
really
would be.
interesting fight.
That would be a fun fight.
Yeah.
I'd pay money to see that.
I would too.
Pay good money for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so we've been asking everyone. I'm gonna lead out with this question. We've been asking everyone remakes. What's your thought on remakes? Knowing that you're part of the industry, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
As someone that's worked, or as a fan,
with remakes, I have never seen a remake that surpasses the original, really. So it's just like, it's hard to capture that same magic that the original had. It's like, instead of making remakes, come up with new ideas.
Yeah.
That's
Like
what I
art.
want to see more.
Perfect.
Exactly. We need more arts. We need new
You're the new,
new
slasher.
characters.
You're the new Jason.
Slasher.
You know? It sets the tone for your
Well,
generation.
it's just like, that's the thing. It's like how like Jason and Freddy and all
Yeah.
those guys were the new generation after Dracula,
Right.
Wolfman, all those guys. It's like we need a new generation to come in.
well, you're kind of
You're
part of
part
a
of
new
it.
generation
Yeah.
with Victor Crowley,
Yep.
Leslie Vernon, which
Yeah.
we hope we get a sequel. Talking to you, Scar Glosserman. I know you're not listening, but I'm just talking. And Art the Clown, and
Yeah.
I think that's really good company right there because this generation is kind of low on slashers, but those three are really, top tier.
I agree. We hope to. And Kane's doing great stuff with all that too. So
Yeah, he's still doing great.
Oh yeah.
He's like 100 and he's still killing people. Like he's 20.
Don't listen to him, Kane. Kane, don't hurt him.
That was payback. Didn't you
Yeah.
make a joke about my age?
We'll go over there and say,
Yeah.
hey.
All right. So we are here, and what's your name?
Yosiello.
Josiel, and what's the name of your work?
It's the Orphans of Dudleytown.
Okay, and then where can we find that? Do you have like an Instagram or a Facebook?
Yeah, my Instagram is at my first name, Yosiell.
Okay.
And my website is Yosiello Lorenzo, YOSIELLLORENZO.com.
Awesome. Okay, and his work, for those of you that cannot see, his work is super cute. How would you describe your work, actually?
A lot of people say creepy cute. So
That's a
kind
good
of
way to
what-
put it.
Yeah. So just like little spooky Victorian kids of that era.
It also reminds me of Lydia from Beetlejuice, too, like that kind of style.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
Edward Gorey, Tim Burton,
Yeah.
all of that definitely inspired me growing up.
It's really cute, and so you've got. So explain what you have. You have. Are these cards or journals? Like, can you
So
write?
these are actually prints based
Oh,
off the tarot cards that I
Uh-huh.
did, the Major Arcana. And again, the same orphan kids, kind of Halloween inspired though I went with this route. And so the prints are based off the tarot cards, off the orphans.
They're so cute.
Then I do a little bit of fan art just to kind of mix it up. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I started creating or elaborating on their world. So instead of releasing just an art book, I did my illustrations as a fictitious school.
Right.
And so I did a yearbook. I had people do yearbook messages.
Oh, okay.
And they each have each drawing now have their own superlative.
Uh-huh.
So it just looks like a full-on yearbook.
So what's there's kind of like a theme or a story here. What's the story?
Yeah, so the Orphans of Dudleytown, I'm originally from Connecticut.
Okay.
And there's this place, 1700s, this place called Dudleytown. People try to live in it. They say it was cursed, crops wouldn't grow, blah, blah, blah. So eventually people just moved out. And so now I think it's called Cornwall, Connecticut. So I kind of want to do a little story based on a little nod to where I was from, Connecticut.
Oh, that's so cool.
So yeah, so I'm trying to take that lore legend of Dudleytown and kind of bring it into my illustrations.
I love that. It
Yeah.
makes it so personal too. you
Yeah,
know?
for sure. Yeah, and it's actually like a physical place you can go out and visit.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Do you have any producer? Do you have any questions for him? She always has really good questions.
Listening all the
I
time,
know.
but I couldn't hear the last part.
Yeah.
He's got really good pieces. Are these like patches?
Yeah, patches, some enamel pins, and some
Yeah.
pins. Yeah.
Those are so cute over there. Are those patches or stickers?
Those are stickers.
Stickers.
And
Okay.
then coffee and greeting cards for your loved ones.
And is this a gemstone or what is?
So these are actually. So I also do resin casting. So like that Harry Potter pieces resin cast.
Okay.
And then I did vampire hearts.
That
that
is
are also
awesome.
resin cast with actual wood stakes.
You even have a little tarot deck.
Yeah, so I did the Major Arcana, the 22 cards.
The
Yeah,
Major Arcana.
yeah, kind of. Yeah.
When did you start doing this?
I started the Orphans like fall of 2011.
Okay.
And then just eventually, just kept growing the brand.
Do you do like different conventions?
I do mainly up and down the West Coast.
Okay.
So Seattle, tried Portland, LA area, and then the Bay, Sacramento,
Where are you based out of right now?
Oakland, California.
Oh, nice. A lot of people from Oakland here.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah, for sure. Yep.
Do you do any other kind of horror stuff, or is this mostly like what you think you're gonna stick with like the creepy, cute kind of stuff?
Yeah, this is what I'm sticking to. I just want to keep building the world. Probably, once I get like a more fleshed out world and book,
Yeah.
probably see if I can talk to agents and kind of pick it up. Yeah.
Disney film next.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Yeah, I will sell out. No, I don't mean it that way, but you know what I mean. Like,
Are you like really? Because I know we mentioned Tim Burton. Are you a fan of like the Tim Burton type of films?
yeah, I'm definitely a fan of Tim Burton. Edward Gorey also inspired me. He did the intro, maybe in the '80s, of a PBS show called Mystery.
Oh, okay.
And my sister used to watch it, and the whole animated intro just inspired me. So yeah.
What other? Are you into like other type of horror films too, or?
I am. I used to be more into like the gorier stuff, but
Yeah.
the older I get, I'm more into like mood, like
Okay.
more like like It Follows. Even though that
Yeah,
has
yeah.
some gory stuff.
Scared sometimes if you can't see what's
Exactly. Yeah.
your
Like
imagination.
leave some for the
Right.
imagination, and I'm good.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Have you
for
ever
sure.
held the same?
No, and that I'm all about.
Time.
Yeah, no, I'm all about
Let's do
it.
this. We have it right here.
We have the planchette. Let's do it.
Yeah. No, I it's one of those things like I would totally do it with the person who knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
So like
experience.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, then there you go. Yeah, for sure. Because I feel like it's a tool. You know what I mean? It's just like.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure the person. Wow. Yeah, that's.
For some reason, I don't know. Have you been to the Winchester Mystery House? Like,
Yeah, in
this is
San
giving
Jose.
me that vibe.
Yeah, all of that stuff. The Victorian
Yeah,
era.
this is
I grew
totally
up, and my
that vibe.
mom. She was really into like antiques.
Yeah.
And the supernatural. So a lot of that kind of spilled into.
You
what
can
I'm currently
totally see
doing
that in
now.
your work.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. It feels like it's from like that time too.
Yeah.
It's so cute. You guys have to check this stuff out. I'm like in love with everything here.
I couldn't hear the first time you said where to find your stuff, right?
Yes. He
Yes.
did. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Edit that.
I know. Well, oh, I didn't. Okay, so we're going around asking people a debate about remakes because you know how
Remakes.
horror films are being remade like all the time. What are your
Too
thoughts?
many.
Too many. So
It's
what are your
too
thoughts
many.
on it? It's too much.
It's too much. Yeah, I mean, I can see because there's already established fan base, so they're
Yeah.
probably just trying to tap into that because it's like it's foolproof. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it should do well for a certain extent, but yeah, I think it's just beginning to be overkill.
Like they just announced Black Christmas is being remade for like the third time.
Really?
Yeah, it's coming out in December already. And Candyman's being remade.
I heard of Candyman, the guy who did Us.
Jordan Peele.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
So yeah, so he's with me on this. There's too many horror remakes.
Yeah, too
We
many.
agree.
Yeah. Wow, I had no idea they were gonna remake Black Christmas.
Yeah.
The original was great.
They just released the because they remade it in like 2006, and it was terrible. It was so
I
bad.
did not know.
It was so bad. Don't watch it.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I only seen the original.
Yeah. So they just released the poster of it for the new one, and it's like a candy cane, like a sharp candy cane, like dripping. December, nuts. Yeah.
Damn, wow.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
have?
tarot readings, yeah. My mom used to get tarot, read all the
Oh.
time, and she took me as a child, so I kind of just like sat there.
Your
and
mom
kinda-
sounds really cool. She's like into really cool stuff.
She has Scorpio.
Check it. She's still cool, but like then she became like born again Christian.
Oh wow.
So it's just like everything like of this
That's
is
like
just
a
like
flip.
total
Yeah.
flip. But it's like the first 12 years of your life are super like, yeah. So I was like, so like she is still cool because she's my mom, but as
Yeah.
far as like the cool thing she was into, not so much anymore.
Do you believe in like a? Yeah. Oh no. Go ahead.
Oh, from the devil. Yeah, like if she sees a spirit board, oh, forget about
She's
it.
really.
Yeah, she was like, you need to go to confession like right now.
Even though this is like cute though, she still thinks like
Yeah,
because
yeah,
of the
I would.
symbols?
She still doesn't know. She thinks I do these.
Oh.
The little, the little cute creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had no idea that I do. I got the tarot card and.
You're like, dude, you inspired me.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, yeah. Yeah, no, it's true, but maybe I should bring it up to her sometime and be like, this is you.
This is your influence.
You did this.
It's like a sweet little. It's actually very sweet.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, maybe it's time.
Very sweet. It's like
Yeah.
a mixture.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Do you believe in astrology?
Astrology is the
Like your sign, like your astrological sign?
yeah, June 30th. I'm a Cancer.
Oh, okay. So you're like nice and sensitive.
Yeah, I'm fragile.
And
My mom is a Pisces.
Pisces is sensitive too.
Yeah.
well, cancers are very connected to their mom. It isn't surprising
Yeah.
that cancer is the sign of your mother.
The mother.
It's surprising that she inspired you.
Yeah.
You're like, this is going in a different direction.
Of the devil.
Yes, I am. I'm with the Dark Lord. Yeah, sure.
Well, we won't take up much more of your time, but I just want to thank you very much. And you guys have to check out his work. And why don't you, we'll leave it as you announcing where you can find your stuff one more time.
Yeah, my site, which is Yosiello Lorenzo. My name is complicated, so I usually like to spell
spell
it.
it out. I get
yeah,
you.
YOSIELLLORENZO.com and Instagram YOSIELL.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Another, my mom made that name up, by the way.
Oh.
Moms everywhere. So.
Moms everywhere.
Yeah,
Moms all
so-
around.
Moms rock.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah,
Your
for
stuff
sure.
is awesome. You guys have to check his stuff out. It is so creepy cute. Hashtag creepy cute.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, thank you
Thanks
very
so much.
much.
Yo, Johnny Zuko, the Boogeyman, here with,
And Ginger Snap.
and we're standing here with Spooky Mel.
Hi, how's it going?
So, tell us a bit about yourself.
Like what do you want to know? I mean, I guess.
Okay, so you have this art
Oh,
called
about my
Board
booth.
Spooky, right? Board
Yeah,
Spooky?
Board Spooky, yes. So it was started with me and my friend. We actually have a podcast called Broads in the Belfry. She's working full time now, so she's no longer doing the booth. But I'm keeping going with it because I'm really trying to expand my art.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trained or anything, but I do like working in classic mediums. So everything it's a print, but it's all either originally watercolor and ink, or colored pencil and colored paper, or I do some marker art, things like that.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing conventions for about 3 years now. This is my third Sinister Creature Con.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've been to 3, and I don't think I remember seeing you around.
Well, I've only done 1 in October, and I've done 2 in the summer. I did 1 last summer, and then I did this one. I'd like to come back in October this year, though, because it's getting so popular.
Yeah, it is. It really is. How was it yesterday?
Oh, yesterday was pretty swamped. Like, I've never seen it that busy, especially in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in the summer, it's usually, kind of slow. This is about a Saturday. Like, what we're seeing today is, like, about a Saturday, like, last year.
I remember I went to the Stockton one about a few years ago. They had it at the arena,
Yeah.
and it was all bad. It was pretty big, you know what I mean? And the thing is that they separated all the celebrities and they put them on the second level on the
Yeah.
first day. I was like, why would you do that?
Yeah, I do Stockton Con sometimes, but yeah, I don't get it. Like, why are all the celebrities way up here, and then everyone's on the arena floor?
Yeah, Sunday they all put them back down, and then it looked like it was actually a full convention.
Oh, there we go.
After I've come to like 3 of these, and each one has gotten better and better and better.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I couldn't believe the lines for like Doug Bradley and Kane Hodder yesterday, like on either side. It was packed, and like nobody could even get to the bathroom because the hallway was just full of the lines. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, have you seen any of the celebrities? Did you go take pictures with anyone?
I haven't taken pictures with anyone, but I did meet Doug Bradley in the hallway before it started.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he's, I know he's a huge fan of the band Ghost, and I actually like make bookmarks with like Cardinal Copia on them, the lead singer. So, I ran back to my booth while he was still setting up, and I didn't want to bug him too long because he was like busy setting up, and I'm just like. I'm like, Mr. Bradley, I know you're a huge fan of Ghost. Yeah, I was like, I was all polite. I was like, Mr. Bradley, I know you're a huge fan of Ghost. Would you like to, I want to give you this bookmark. And he just started laughing. And it was like the best thing. He just started laughing. He's like, thank you, that's delightful. And I'm like, that's cool. That's the best thing I could ask for.
That's dope.
But if anything, like when my friend gets here, I'd love to like run over and I want to go get a picture with Joe Bob. I think it's only like $10 to get a selfie with Joe Bob or something. Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah, we just came from seeing him.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he doesn't have like a big line right now, so right now would be the time. We'll watch the booth. Go ahead.
No, they should be here soon. It'll be cool. But yeah, no, I love Joe Bob.
So what are the inspirations for your drawings?
Well, at first I was doing like a lot of like fan art, you know. Like I still have like a picture of Freddie and Jason there. But
I love the Freddie one.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I gave that one to Robert Englund when I met him. Yeah, and he loved it. So I love giving my art away to people that I've drawn, you know. But you know, right now I'm just kind of drawing what I like animals I like. I'm kind of playing around. Like I really like horror things, but I also like kind of whimsical things. So some of my things are a little scarier than others, and I'm playing with colors. You know, I'm just exploring right now.
Are you constantly evolving the way you draw your art, or?
Oh yeah, totally. Like it's weird. Like my boyfriend was saying, like he was looking at things I drew just a year ago, and then after I was doing cons for a while, he saw what I was doing now, and he's like, just when I think that it's not going to go anywhere further, it's like you get so much better, and I'm like, thank you. That's like, thank God. I don't want to get stale, you know.
Yeah, you always want to keep going, you know.
Yeah, and I'm always trying new things, so I'm always trying to elevate myself.
And you also have a podcast as well, right?
Yeah, Broads in the Belfry. It's me and my friend. We talk a lot about like just anything like horror related. Like right now we're re-exploring Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. It's an old indie comic from San Jose, California, back in like '96. Mm-hmm. Yeah, '96. It was Jonah Vasquez's first published work, way before Invader Zim and all that. And then we also do movies sometimes. We've reviewed Bride of Reanimator and Halloween 3. Things like that. We talk about video games sometimes because I play a lot. I was talking about Bloodborne last episode, things like that.
You played Evil Within 2?
I'm sorry?
Have you played the Evil Within 2?
I haven't played the second one. I played the first one and I liked it though.
Oh, the second one is fucking awesome.
Oh, really?
It is awesome.
Okay, that's really good to know.
There's a lot of subtlety with the scares, and it makes you do a double take, and then it's not there anymore.
Oh.
Like you've seen the movie Hereditary, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that movie.
You know how they have like hidden things in the corner?
Yeah.
Same thing with the game. It's like, oh man, definitely highly recommend it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's kind of like with Silent Hill 1, they did some of that stuff too, like as best as they could with the graphics at the time.
Yeah, this one is next level. It's pretty good though.
Oh, that's awesome.
Really good.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, that's a tough one. Favorite scary movie?
Why you gotta put it on the spot like that?
I know.
I mean, I think as far as like scary, probably the first Hellraiser. Yeah.
So great.
That was definitely a favorite of mine. I loved Candyman, but I had to like watch that when I was older because like that one scared the heck out of me.
Yeah. They're remaking Candyman.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's like, is Tony talking to be in it? Is he not? They can't decide.
I heard he's gonna make a special cameo.
Oh, okay.
But just a little one. It's not gonna be like a major.
Okay, yeah. There's just so much conflicting things.
I know. I know.
That's all a part of Peel's appeal. One more question before we head out. Where do you stand on remakes? Since she brought that up. With the announcement of Black Christmas being remade again.
Yeah.
So where do you stand on remakes? Do you feel like remakes are a necessary evil, or do you feel like it's just, like my co-host always says, out of ideas, or is it just something that, to bring a new generation to them?
That's a really good question. Honestly, I just think they're running out of ideas, and it's like John Carpenter actually said something really good about the subject. He said that, in Hollywood they call it show business, not show art. And so, 1 minute left. Okay.
1 minute left.
1 minute left.
Come on, tick, 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 tick.
And he's like, it's called show business, not show art. And so, unfortunately, there are, they're gonna save on advertising by rehashing these movies over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Now, does it mean that I haven't liked any remakes? No, I really like the Evil Dead remake. I actually thought that was really fun, but I also enjoyed the original. Did I like the Nightmare on Elm Street remake? No.
We don't talk about that one.
No.
We don't talk about that.
But I mean, I guess they have their place. But I also, I enjoy like what Halloween did. This the newest Halloween that came out. It wasn't a remake, but it was a continuation, and they brought back Jamie Lee Curtis, and I thought that was a really well done movie. I also like that there's people kind of fighting against it, and they're making their own things like Hereditary and oh my goodness.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Here we go! Oh!
Happy New Year!
We're all gonna die!
But yeah, I mean they're hit or miss. I guess they
I
do
agree.
bring in people, but I don't know. When I was a kid, I watched all the old movies and I enjoyed them. So yeah, I'm not really a fan.
That was definitely it was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too. It's so nice. Thank you.
Spooky Mel from Board Spooky. Please, where can people find your artwork?
Oh yeah, you can find my artwork. My Instagram is mjhartist82, and then also we have a shop Instagram, Board Spooky. Our Etsy is Board Spooky, and yeah, check out our podcast, Broads in the Belfry.
All right, signing out from the Sinister Creature Con. So I have a very bad reputation, so I apologize. Welcome back. This is the Boogeyman, Johnny Zuko, once again from the Sinister Creature Con. I'm sitting here with
Richard Becker.
And he is the author, creator.
I am the author, creator, and artist on Weed Wolf, and I'm one of the artists on many other fine things in Tales from the Dank Side.
So what was the initial concept of the Tales from the Dank Side? Like, there's a lot of weed overtones. Like, what was the inspiration for
it was definitely a parody of Tales from the Crypt and those old monster magazines.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're trying to do. We got the horror house, and just the whole twist on it is monsters mixed with cannabis.
And so a lot of them have cannabis themes, right? A lot of them.
Yeah.
So can you explain one, like, Tales from the Dank Side? Then you also have Budzilla, and Budzilla is a parody on Godzilla, right?
Yes, definitely is. So all of our comics are kind of parodies of
a lot of movies.
Yeah, just normal movies, comic books, just normal things like that. So most of it is humorous, though Weed Wolf is a more serious werewolf story.
How so?
Well, it's not supposed to be funny at all. It's supposed to be pretty gruesome and bloody, as werewolf stories are supposed to be. That was my take on it. They originally told me they wanted to do something along the lines of the Lon Chaney Wolfman, and then I started working it up, and then they started to send me more funny, humorous aspects of the Wolfman theme. And I told them, well, I wanted to do it serious, kind of explain the direction I was going, and my editor says, okay, sounds good to me.
So they went with it?
They went with a more serious take on it, yeah.
And are you happy with the way that it came out?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah? And so Wolfman, and you also have Creature from the, what is that, the Bongu?
Black Bongu, yes.
Black Bongu.
So that's the Creature from the Black Lagoon. Only that definitely is a more humorous type of story.
And so you also have Bong Wars. And so how many issues deep are you into Tales from the Dank Side?
We've got 4 issues out on that.
4 issues?
Yeah.
Any more to come?
Yes, we're starting another series soon. Most of them are standalone stories, but Weed Wolf is a serialization. Though I came to the end of the story arc in issue 4, but it'll pick up again with a new adventure.
New
probably
adventure?
4 parts in the next issue 5.
How long has Tales from the Dank Side been a comic book?
It's 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah, so we're a little better than 1 issue a year.
And they're all anthology stories, correct?
Yes.
And so, where did you get the? So I noticed that you do the EC kind of style.
Yeah.
That's a big influence.
Oh yeah, I'm an older person, though I don't remember the original ECs. I certainly was very much influenced with all the reprints. And then the Warren books, if you're familiar with those,
No.
Creepy and Eerie. Those were from the late 60s and 70s. That was my youth.
No, I'm more familiar with like Vault of the Terror, stuff like that.
Those were in the 50s. And then there was a kind of a reboot of them by the people that did Famous Monsters of Filmland. And they did Creepy and Eerie magazines. And Vampirella, that was another one of their big characters.
And I noticed you also have a new comic book, Vampire Legends.
Yeah, that's one I published, and that's all.
Sorry, people, I got gas. I'm just bad burrito. Sorry about that. Hold
Vampire
on. That'll
Legends
pass.
are all real vampire legends. All the stories people said throughout the years that supposedly really happened.
Oh, really? So they're based on actual...
On true accounts. Though, of course, believing in real vampires is a little bit of a stretch, but supposedly there were these people that grew up, rose up out of their graves and drank blood.
Well, vampirism is a really big thing, though. So a lot of people believe there actually are vampires.
Yeah. So it might be.
So I noticed on the cover you have Nosferatu. So is that one? Was that the basis of the story?
No, I just really liked that monster. I thought that original movie was just tremendous. I thought when they did the retelling of it, the Klaus Kinski version was awfully good. And then when they did Shadow of the Vampire, which was kind of
that was a really good movie.
I thought it was great. I just love that character, so that's just my vampire on the cover.
I thought Willem Dafoe was excellent in that movie.
Sure was.
Really
yeah.
fucking creepy in that.
That part where he just grabbed that bat out of the arenade.
Yeah. Like, whoa, what are you doing? That's all method.
And him just looking at those people and kind of clicking his nails and just like he wanted to eat them up. Yes. Yeah, right. Very good acting.
And so I want to ask you, because I've been asking a lot of the vendors.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on remakes?
Oh, I'm all for it. They don't always work, but sometimes they're as good or sometimes even better.
What's your favorite remake?
Oh, boy. Well, it definitely is not King Kong. I think the original was the best. Yeah, Tales from the Dank Side is the best remake of anything. As far as movies, boy, you got me. It's just blanking.
What's your thought on the Nightmare on Elm Street remake?
On the what?
Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Oh, I haven't seen it. I thought the original movie was great. The sequels, I thought they kind of went down, as often happened. But the original one was awfully good, but no, I haven't seen the remake as yet.
Because I'm just curious to see what people think about it, because
of course.
You know, that first trailer that they released was actually pretty good. They established some good ideas. Just didn't work, you know, so I don't know. They kind of leaned heavy on CGI. So I was just wondering, I asked that question to everyone. My co-host over here is on a rampage with remakes. With the announcement of Black Christmas, you know, she completely lost her fucking mind.
Well, oftentimes they're watered down or so updated and putting too much into it that just takes away from the story. There's too many special effects. They were trying to appeal to a 14-year-old boy, and you know, and as you get older, that just kind of gets old. And nostalgia also accounts to a lot of remembering back to things going, that was so good, they could never do it again. But I don't know, the original King Kong is just got to be the best movie ever made.
All right, well, that is it. I am Johnny's.
Most important question: are you 420 friendly? No.
I believe so. And thank goodness it's legal. About time. So you can reach us through drivethrubud.com is the name of the website for the company. If anybody's interested in 420 horror books, Tales from the Dank Side.
Welcome back back to the Bump in the Night podcast with your host, Boogeyman Johnny Zuko.
And Ginger Snap.
And we are here with the Homicidal Homemaker,
Hi, thank you for having me.
Kaci Hansen. Long time no see.
Actually, we just stalked you, so don't lie. Thanks for having me.
How you been, Kaci?
Good, keeping busy, but I like being busy. So have a lot of things in the works, just working on the cooking show and on my blog. And then I started, I have my own column in Rue Morgue magazine, so that's something new that's happened since the last time we spoke. So I have exclusive recipes in their magazine and now cooking segments on Rue Morgue TV.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's dope.
So I have a pretty full plate, but I still keep doing more and more things.
Got to keep grinding,
Yeah.
So I follow you on Twitter, and you also do live streaming as well, right?
Yeah, sometimes I do.
You do only video games, or you do live streaming when you're doing like the cooking as well?
I haven't done the cooking, but that's a request that I've had a lot, and doing cocktails. So sometimes we just we'll just go on there and have beers and talk sometimes, and then other times I do the video games. But I'm terrible at video games, which is kind of like what makes it funny because I'm struggling through it and I'm trying to have a conversation and I'm like, oh, I just died because I was talking instead of paying attention to what I'm doing. But I also like to play the interactive video games on there, like Jackbox, where people can join on their phones and play along. And it tends to get really inappropriate, but it's really funny. So I always tell people, if you have kids, please don't let them watch, which is why I try to stream really late at night, because I can't control what other people might do on there.
That's when you get mods and say, hey, mods, just watch these people, kick them out.
Yeah, there's some people that I've had to hey, stop it or I'm not going to let you play anymore.
So how long have you been doing the show?
The show about 3.5 years now. So February will be 4 years. Wow, 4 years on the show. Website about 10 years now.
Have you always loved cooking, or did you get into it at a young age?
I've always loved food, I guess would be a good thing. I've always liked consuming it, for sure. But I started baking at a pretty young age. I always helped out my great-grandmother in the kitchen and started watching Food Network a lot when I was younger. And too many bad cakes at the bakery is kind of what prompted starting to learn how to bake and decorate. So gosh, I don't even remember how old I was then, but my brother was a baby, so, maybe close to 20 years ago now.
Oh, wow. So do you make stuff in your, for your family at home? Do you
I
actually make, so we're having fingers for dinner?
Yeah, well, my
severed arm.
My family's kind of like my guinea pigs.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this looks sick, but I need you guys to try it. And, my next recipe in the next issue of Rue Morgue is pretty gross. I would say it's one of the grossest things I've ever done.
Awesome.
It tasted so good, though, but talking about it and saying what it was supposed to look like. If you have arachnophobia, you're probably not going to get... Yeah, just
looking at you, Elysa.
Just a little spoiler. It's inspired by Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. The red
Does it pimple?
awesome. Yeah. So the cupcake, it looks like a boil. I took sugar and I took a pastry torch and caramelized the sugar, so it kind of looks like a scab. And then when you cut into it, it oozes out red filling with large pearl tapioca to look like eggs. So it was really, really, really sick. Tasted really good, though. That's what
you
counts.
have to put a blindfold on.
Yeah, just don't think about what it is.
Has anyone ever asked you to do special effects for movies?
I actually,
because
I had
along the same lines. The stuff looks so real.
Thank you. I had a brief stint doing that for some friends' films. Another thing, I was I just want to know how to do that, and end up spending way too much money buying all this stuff and learning how to make prosthetics and stuff for friends' music videos or short films. I would just do it because I like the experience of it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of, I was a fine art major, so I kind of apply those skills that I've learned throughout my whole life to either makeup or to pastry or whatever thing I'm doing, because I'm one of those people that I constantly have to learn how to do something. If I'm not occupied, I kind of go nuts. So.
And also, don't you just focus intense, very Scorpio?
Yeah.
When you want to learn something,
it's I get
tunnel vision.
Get obsessed with it for sure.
Do you have a favorite baked good that's your go-to?
Not a go-to for giving out gifts or anything, but I would say my favorite baked thing that I've made on the show is my Twin Peaks Black Lodge pie.
I loved that, yeah.
Thank you.
I love that.
So for anyone listening right now, my Twin Peaks Black Lodge pie, there's a lot of cherry pie and coffee eaten on the show, Twin Peaks. So I want to do a cherry pie, but I want to do my Homicidal Homemaker twist on it. So I was thinking like Black Forest is typically chocolate and cherry, and I was like, oh, Black Lodge. So that's kind of like how my thought process goes. I try to take either an ingredient that's prominent on the show and then a theme, and I really try to tie it in because I feel like I could make anything and just slap a name on it, but I want like a direct tie-in.
Yeah. You want all your cooking to have like a thematic theme.
Yes,
right?
I wanted to actually tie in with the film or the show. So like I wanted it to be like a Black Lodge cherry pie. I didn't want to just do a cherry pie because a lot of people have done that. I wanted to do my twist on it. And so instead of a lattice crust, I did like a chevron, and then I put the cherries on the top so it looked like the red room with like the chevron print floor and the red curtains.
So creative.
It's so good though. Like I may or may not have eaten an entire pie by myself. Like
I'm pleading the fifth.
I want that now.
You know what? That's nice because it's so personal. Like it makes it seem, which I'm sure you do, like you care about the people who are watching it. Like you're really putting an effort into what.
I absolutely try to just put it all into every recipe that I come up with because I want people to have good results, because I watch a lot of YouTube videos or I follow recipe blogs and they'll leave critical steps out. Like if you know how to cook or you know how to bake, that might seem like common sense, but most people, they don't know. And so like on the recipe, the Black Lodge pie, you're adding egg yolks to it. So if you were to add all of your hot liquid that you just melted down and put that in the egg yolks, they'd scramble. Yeah. So I always make a point of saying you need to temper your egg yolks so you don't end up with scrambled eggs in a chocolate pie.
Because I wouldn't know. I would watch and I would screw up the whole thing.
A lot of people, I mean, they wouldn't even think about it. They would just read it and like follow it. So I try to be very informative on everything that I do too, because I want to encourage people. I don't want them to be discouraged because I've made things before that didn't turn out and then it was disappointing. So it's like nobody wants to spend the money making a recipe or buying, special supplies and then it's a flop. And then they're going to be like, I'm not going to make one of her recipes again, or I'm not going to bake again ever. So like I've had recipes that are very easy, and then I've had some that are really complex, and people who have said that they've never made anything before, like somebody who was here said they'd never made anything that didn't come from a tube, and they made like one of the most complicated recipes on my show, and it turned out it looked just like mine, and they're like, oh, it was delicious.
Like,
so I'm trying to show people, I'm like, it's not like just a photoshopped cake, and, it's a real result, and if you follow the directions, like you'll get these results, and if it doesn't work out, like send me a message and I'll help you out best I can.
So you also did the Reanimator
the
shots, right? So how did those turn out?
Those are really good. So I wanted to tie it in with reanimating something. So of course, if someone's going to have a Jello shot, their main goal is to get intoxicated, so maybe they'll be in a zombie-like state from that. But I was thinking Reanimator, you need to like regenerate, so I wanted to put, as Joe Bob would call it, hypercaffeinated soda, so I used an energy drink to kind of reanimate the person. So I always try to I don't want to just call it something, I want to have it tied in. So those are really good, and I mean, anything that's a Jello shot, I mean, it makes it way more fun to drink.
Do you have a favorite movie? Horror movie that's inspired you?
That's tough. Like a favorite horror movie in general. Like it's hard to just pick one.
Night of the Demons or Demons, I would say.
Yeah, you would say Salvador just chimed in. Night of the Demons or Demons, and then I'd also say Slumber Party Massacre 2. So those are probably. Did it change your life, right?
I was like, what is going on?
That's an awesome movie.
So my friend Alex over here, he was at my birthday party when I turned, 16 or 17. I had a bunch of people over, and I watched that on VHS, and they're like, what is wrong with you? Everyone there couldn't understand why I liked it, and by the end, they're like, this was the most amazing thing I've ever watched. It made no sense. So, I would say probably those are my top three. Not just one. I'd say, Night of the Demons, which I have recipes for all three of these films, in my brain. I just haven't put them on the channel or the show yet. So, and some of them, I'm I don't know how I came up with that, but I think that people are going to really like it, and they're going to be like, what the heck is wrong with you?
Do you have a hard time keeping track with your recipes? Do you have to write them down?
I do write them down. Like, actually...
As soon as, like, you come up with it, like, I gotta write this down.
Yeah,
like,
I make notes, and then, like, what doesn't work out, and then sometimes I won't post them for a while, and then I remake it, and I'm like, I can do better, and I'll remake it. So, like, my recipe for the stuff, that was, like, the third version of it I did. The first two were really good, but I was like, no, I want it, like, fluffier, so...
More like a marshmallow,
yeah,
right?
and so I wanted to incorporate marshmallows into it, because it looks like marshmallow fluff. And then another tie into that film, I did a chocolate chip cookie crust, like chocolate chip Charlie in the film. So like little silly things like that I like to put in. But gosh, I was gonna say something. Now I remember what I was gonna say. So keeping track of the recipes. One of them, the next episode, it was actually a recipe I did over 2 years ago. I was looking at my phone at the pictures on like the dates, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it was like Thanksgiving break 2 years ago. So if I don't hurry up and post it, it's going to be 3 years coming up. And again, I revamped it. I mean, it looks the same, but I did a little bit better on the ingredients this time.
A little bit more tweaking on the recipe.
Yeah.
Because probably over time you've just like perfected your craft more and more.
A little,
so
yeah.
you're like, oh, I know what fits
techniques,
here a little better.
Yeah. So it's always like an ever-changing process. And sometimes I go back and I look at stuff I did, and I'm like, I want to redo that, and I wish I could have done that differently. But I've done that on my website too. I'll post something, and I'm like, hey, here's version 2.0. Like the brain macaroni salad, the first one I did, it didn't
The remake.
Yeah. Exactly. So like the brain macaroni salad, the first one I did had cream cheese, because when you get it cold, it kind of solidifies and it'll stay in the shape of a brain. But the second one I did, I added a little bit of gelatin to the dressing, but not enough to make it like gelatinous. So people are like, why would you put gelatin? I'm like, you're not eating like gelatinous macaroni. It's like just enough to hold it together. So that was version 2.0.
Where can people find your show?
They can find all of my episodes on youtube.com/homicidal homemaker, and they can also go to my website, thehomicidalhomemaker.com. I have recipes that aren't on the channel from like before I started doing the show as well as after doing the show. Sometimes I just post a craft or a quick recipe that I don't feel needs a whole video. So there's a lot more content on my actual website. And then you can get some of the Room Org exclusives on there too. I've posted a few of those. And you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/homicidal homemaker. Instagram, you guessed it, Instagram.com/homicidal homemaker. But on Twitter, it's a little different because my name was too long. So it's Homicidal Kaci, which is Kaci. But if you go to my website, it's all linked on the top, which is probably a lot easier. So again, that's thehomicidalhomemaker.com.
So what is Casey's favorite food?
Favorite?
Just like, hands down, do you have something that you're like, oh, I feel like nachos, I'm just going to eat nachos?
I love all food. That's a hard thing to say, but I really like pad thai with deep fried tofu, because if you're going to have something healthy like tofu, why not deep fry it?
Right,
and
exactly.
defeat the purpose.
Making me hungry. I'm like so hungry right now. I'm like watching like the video.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, Other thing would be pineapple mushroom and olive pizza with barbecue sauce instead of tomato sauce.
Yeah, that actually sounds kind
then-
of good. I have a weird pizza that I put together too. They're always like, you're disgusting. But
It's
it has
pesto.
pineapple. Pesto, pineapple, and jalapenos.
That sounds dang good.
It
to
is
me.
delicious.
It smells awful though. One more question before we head out. I've been asking everyone, remakes, what's your stance on them?
Our next show is October.
I think if you're going to do a remake, give it your own personal take. I think that you should definitely pay homage to the original source. I think it's fine, to keep things as is and kind of do it, but
thank you very much.
I don't know. I think there's a high expectation when it's a classic, and when you're doing your own take, like there's no way you can live up to the original. So you should definitely do your own twist on it while still keeping the integrity of it. Sometimes I've watched a remake and I'm just like, nope,
Like,
gonna
what are you
forget I
doing?
saw that.
Yeah.
Delete out of memory.
I
So.
can't get those
But
hours
I also
back.
think some things should just be left as is.
Yeah.
Example.
Oh.
I hope I don't get any hate for this, but Suspiria.
Oh, interesting.
But Suspiria is very, very dear to me, and I kind of, when I heard they were going to remake it, I was like, I don't know if I even want
Your
to
show has that same kind of color palette as well.
That was
Argento.
Thank you. That was actually one of my inspirations. So I was very particular about the lighting when I was, developing the concepts for it. And when I talked to my producer, I was like, "This is what I want. This is the lighting I want." I showed him examples of Suspiria. I showed him Terror Vision. Oh, nice. So very, very theatrical, surreal, colorful lighting. So obviously, Suspiria is very dear to me. So when I heard they were remaking that, I was like, I just don't know. I mean, I love Tom York and I love his music, but I just didn't feel that anything could change the feeling that music from the original gave me.
Yeah,
and
Tom York's music did not go with the film. Have you seen the film?
I did watch it.
We're still on the fence, and we saw it a year ago. And we're like, I don't know how I feel about this movie.
Because the original is so fun and colorful and like dramatic. This new one was very mundane, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
and it just didn't have that pop.
Yeah, I think that, I knew that they were trying to do their own thing with it, which I appreciate and I respect, but for me, I'm going to stick with the original. It made an impact on me, and I felt that it really changed me when I watched it, so.
How old were you when you saw it?
I have no idea. I was probably a teenager when I saw it, and I felt like, it just made me go down a rabbit hole of Italian horror after that, so it's something that's very dear to me.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see the original Suspiria until maybe my mid-20s. And I was like, holy shit, I didn't know horror movies could be like this.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. But
it's there's things that are so graphic in it, but it's such a beautiful,
blood's beautiful.
Well, the film is just so striking. Yeah. The whole entirety of the film is striking, and it's I don't know, I just can't really describe the feeling that it gives me when I watch it.
All right, well, as you heard in the background, folks, Sinister Creature Con is now closed.
It's Dunzo,
and we're keeping Kaci from packing up, so we are sorry for taking up your time.
Oh, no worries. Thank you for having me.
And this is the Boogeyman.
And Ginger Snap.